Assalamu alaikum, shalom, shalom, hotep, Islam, alafia. What's going on, family? What's going on? Happy Monday, happy Monday. That's right, man. We are back. We are back with another episode, man. This episode is going to be dope, man. This episode is going to be about spirituality. It's going to be about family. It's going to be about love. It's going to be about business. So definitely, man, if you're into spirituality, you don't know what is it, you have an idea of what it is, definitely tap in. Definitely tap in, man. We got the awesome, intelligent sister. She's going to be tapping in with us to speak on and defining spirituality in 2024. So definitely tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, DTR 360 Books. That's right, DTR 360 Books YouTube channel. All right, I'm waiting for the sister to come. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this video. All right, we are defining spirituality in 2024. Let's go. Peace. Peace, sister. How are you?
Peace, Atepu. How are you?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Alhamdulillah. How about yourself?
I'm thankful.
Awesome. It's good to see you again.
You as well, my brother. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Indeed, of course, of course. You know, I love what you do. I love what you're about. So, you know, if I could help to spread the message across multiple avenues and audiences and platforms, then, you know, this is what I'm here for, inshallah.
All right. I do want to, I forgot to put this mic on, so I want to make sure I do that so you can hear and everyone else
Indeed.
can hear me.
Yes, indeed. So while we wait, family, make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this video. Make sure you share this video. Again, we will be defining spirituality in 2024. So if you're interested, if you don't know much about spirituality, if you have an idea about spirituality, this is the video, this is the interview that you definitely want to tap into. All right? Cool.
All right. Can
All
you hear
right.
me well?
Yes. Can you adjust the camera a bit? If you can. Okay. Yes. Yes. Perfect.
All right.
All right. Awesome. All right. So let's get started. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Shalom. Hotep. Islam. Alafia. Peace. What's going on, family? Whatever greetings you go by, I greet you in the greeting words of love, peace, and happiness. This is DTR 360 Books podcast show. We are live. We are live. Happy Monday. We have the great sister Kajira here with us. My apologies if I mispronounce your name. It's your sister Kajira.
Kajara.
Kajira, Sister Kajira. We have Sister Kajira here with us. She'll be defining and speaking on spirituality in 2024. Before we get started, family, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, tell a friend to tell a friend. Check out our bookstore, DTR360books.com. We have all kinds of books, spirituality books, self-motivation books, finance books, children books, anything that you're looking for, we got. All right, and we also got the Great Sister books in our online bookstore as well. All right, so let's get started. So for the people who may not know about you, tell the people who you are, sister.
Okay. So I am Kajara Nebihet. I am an educator, an author, a healer, a priestess, a community activist, a light worker. I'm a mother and a grandmother, and also an earth keeper, a dragon slayer,
Indeed.
and a nature lover as well. And so it's definitely my pleasure to be here with you and to share with everyone who is joining in as well.
Yes, yes, indeed, man. Powerful, powerful sister. All right, so let's get into it. So, contrary to popular belief, people may not still fully grasp the concept of spirituality. So, in layman's terms, what is spirit, and how can we define spirituality?
All right. So, spirit is that part of us that makes us who we are, right? Spirit is the part that connects us to the universe. So there is spirit in all things natural. and all the elemental forces, excuse me, air, earth, fire, and water. There is spirit in all of nature, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom. There is spirit. And then we as humans, we are actually spiritual beings living in a human body, right? So it's important for us to understand that we do have that spiritual side, because most people just think about their physical
Right.
selves, right? We think about how we look, what we're going to wear, how our body looks, what we're going to eat. And that's just one aspect of ourselves. We also have the mental side, the emotional side, and then, of course, the spiritual side. And that spiritual part of us is the part that we get in each lifetime that makes us who we are. So it's our spirit that allows us to do the work that we do. It's our spirit that gives us the gifts that we have. Um, and yes, spirit is extremely important for us to understand, especially now that we are in this age of Aquarius,
Indeed.
because this is a spiritual
Right.
time.
Right, indeed. And this is, one of my reasons for doing an interview with you. And again, just letting the people know the concept of spirituality. And so, how can we define spirituality?
So, spirit is something that you cannot necessarily see. It's an energy, it's a force that moves through us. It's the part of us that moves through our breath and our blood. It's connected to our life force energy, but it's beyond the life force, because it is, like I said before, the part of us that connects us to everything else in the universe. So in ancient Kemet, we understood the spirit to help us to connect with the planets, with the Neteru, with all of nature, and that is also other traditional systems think about spirit in that way as well. So, because we have the human bodies, we also have the forces within us. We have the fire moving through us,
Right.
right? We have
Right.
water, we have air, and then earth as well. So, all of those elements have that energy of spirit within them, and
And so
bringing
do
them
we.
all together, right, is also how we are able to connect with those higher forces. So, spirit is the part that is unhidden, is
Mm.
it's beyond our human
Imagination.
experience.
Yeah.
It's greater. That's why we always call on a greater power, or the higher spirit, which we can't even conceive. You can't even have an altar for the Most High,
Mm.
because it's so vast. Like the whole earth is the altar for the Creator, right? So spirit is very magnificent, but also as small as a tiny insect, because even they have a spiritual connection to the all, and it's what keeps us all connected and moving on this planet. Is spirit.
Indeed, indeed. So, is there a such thing as one being too involved or immersed in spirit? If so, how?
Yeah, absolutely. Some people can be a little out of balance spiritually, because, again, we do have that spiritual side, and we could be tuned into the spiritual realm, right? The realm of the ancestors, the realm of the heavens, the realm of, nature. But because we are in these human bodies, we also have to make sure that we stay grounded to the earth as well. And
Mhm.
so there are some people, and I myself, at one time, especially when I first started writing those books, I was being inspired spiritually, and I would spend, far more time on the spiritual realm than I was spending on the earthly realm. So I had to really learn how to balance that out, because, I would forget to do things like pay bills,
Right.
and, the menial day to day tasks were not on my mind, because I was tuned into the spiritual realm and just getting directions and guidance from that aspect. So yeah, you have to be mindful to not be out of balance with your
Right,
energy.
exactly. And so how can one balance themselves back into the physical realm of things? Like you said, like, you know, pay attention to your bills, pay attention to your family, right?
Right,
And
that part.
things like that. So
Mhm.
how can one balance that?
I would say just doing things like going out into nature and tuning into the earth, because the earth is what keeps us grounded. And so planting and playing in the dirt,
Mm.
and even just,
Walking on
like for me, going,
grass barefoot.
right, walking on the ground barefoot. That's what I was going to say, going out into the trees and just spending time in that aspect of nature. It can really help to bring you back to yourself.
Right, indeed.
Also, even taking spiritual baths with salt, things like that can definitely help keep you grounded. Eating foods that are roots, potatoes and yams and such, help to keep you grounded. Herbs that are roots, dandelion and burdock and such, they will help to keep you balanced so you don't just float away. And those people who are like air signs, they definitely have to be mindful, because they can easily get taken into those higher realms, because that element that rules them is air. So they have to constantly do things to keep them grounded.
Okay, so when you say air signs, meaning I think Aries, Aries is an air sign. Um,
Aries is definitely fire. The
fire,
air
sorry.
signs is Gemini, Libra is air, and it's one more. Um,
Is it no? It's not Capricorn.
it's
Okay.
Gemini, Libra, um, maybe Sagittarius. No,
Nah,
Sagittarius is
Sagittarius.
fire.
Yeah, I'm a Sag. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the
Okay.
next air
Yeah.
one.
Well, we'll
Oh,
figure it out.
it's
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Yeah, someone put it in. See, yeah, I got some smart followers. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's
Got some
Aquarius.
smart
Yeah.
followers. Right. So Aquarius, you said Gemini, and what
Hmm.
was the
And
other one?
Libra.
Aquarius, Gemini,
Libra.
and Libra. Those are the
Yes,
air signs.
those are the air signs.
And okay, and they should make sure to stay balanced and drink the herbs and take spiritual baths and so forth.
They have to do a lot of things to keep themselves grounded to the earth. So again, going out in nature, playing in the dirt, and I mean really literally putting your hands
Hmm.
in dirt or your feet in the ground, is also very helpful. Like planting plants or
Yeah,
things like that, repotting your plants, those types of things help to keep them more grounded. And then of course, if they have friends or family members that are earth signs, they usually help to keep them more
yeah,
balanced as well. The earth signs bring them right on back. Come on back.
right, right. Because I mean, with the air signs, they said that they're a bit like unorganized and like all over the place because they're like airy and
The
you
air
know,
signs are the
yeah,
airy ones, and the earth signs are the organized ones.
right,
We plan, we strategize, we have the structure and all those types of
right.
things. So, yeah.
Indeed, indeed. All right, cool. So speaking of, you mentioned spiritual bath, taking spiritual baths. Can so does it matter if you take like regular baths or showers? Does that matter, or it depends on that?
Well, it does. Everything matters, of course. But you can take a spiritual bath in the shower and
Okay,
pour it
right,
over you. However, when you have an opportunity to submerge yourself in water, it's a whole different vibration. And of course, most people don't do that enough, because, taking a shower is easier, it's
right.
faster, this, and that. But really, in ancient times, we would shower in the waterfalls, and we would, submerge ourselves in the ocean water or the lakes or things like that, because it definitely does have a different frequency when we do that.
Yes, I want to read a passage real quick from your book, Recipes for Elevation.
Okay.
Recipes for Elevation, right? And speaking on Gemstones and Spiritual Baths, page 23. You said that for years I was a shower girl, always in a hurry. Baths just seemed too time consuming. Even when I had time to take one, the shower seemed more hygienic. I have since transformed myself into a woman who appreciates the power of the bath. As I went through the gateways with Queen of Four and using her book, Sacred Woman, as a guide, I rediscovered the pleasure of immersion in water, which I had actually loved and appreciated as a child. Now, though, instead of bubble bath, it's herbs, aromas, the ambiance, and gemstones, right? And then you give the recipes and so forth, right? So, as you were saying, and Sacred Woman book, Queen of Four, she mentions it and so forth. The ambiance and the immersion in water is something that we don't use anymore or we don't do anymore. And so if you can just elaborate a bit more, just like the power and the immersion in water, touching or just soaking your body in it, right? Because we work a lot, our body aches, so on and so forth. So like even that is relaxing, taking baths in herbs and just revitalizing, as you said, your frequency and your energy.
Yes, absolutely. And what we don't realize is that, there's a lot of negative energy around us, whether we're going to the store, riding the bus, or even sometimes just going to work and we're around people who we don't know. And we could be around somebody who is a rapist or a killer, And so that energy is out there. So when we are able to take the bath, it clears our physical body. When we add herbs, crystals, salt, sea salt, or Epsom salt to the water, it helps to purify the layers of energy that we may connect with or even collect when we're out and about doing our thing, living our daily lives. So, that is one reason why it's so important to actually submerge yourself, because it really does, your body has that opportunity to relax
Yeah,
and soak
right,
in the energy of the herbs. And of course, you're putting these things in the water and then you activate it with your prayers and your words of power. So it can be programmed because water, is an energy
right.
conduit. So we can basically program the water to give us the energy or frequency that we needed to give.
Mm, powerful, powerful. And water, as we on the topic, water carries messages and it carries energy. And as you said earlier, we are of water, right? So
Mm-hmm.
about 80% of our body is consumed of water. So when we have that and when we have the positive energy and the life force behind it, man, it's a powerful thing.
Absolutely,
It's a
absolutely.
powerful thing.
And
Um,
water, we are made of water, but so is the earth, and it's raining, the water is going to come down from the heavens, it's going to go back to the rivers, the lakes, the ocean, and then it will go back to the clouds and become rain again. So it's a process that a life cycle process
yeah.
that is important for maintaining the earth. And so we also can use it to maintain ourselves in a similar way.
Indeed, indeed. So let's talk relationships and how it relates to uh, spirituality, if you will.
Okay.
So does it matter if one person is, I guess you can say, like more spiritual in a relationship, or does both people need to be spiritually grounded for the relationship to work? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, from my experience, I find that the couples that I know that have been together the longest, they do share the same or similar spiritual beliefs and lifestyle.
Okay.
So, I do also have many clients who they may have a partner that has a different way of practicing their spirituality, or some may be religious even. And that can be an issue, because they don't necessarily see things the same way. However, ones who have an elevated mindset can also see and move beyond that, because like I have prayed and studied with almost all the spiritual systems out there. I've been through the Christianity, I've been through Jehovah Witness, I've been through Nation of Islam, I've been through Hebrew Israelites. I was a Rastafarian. I was practiced with the Akan. I did some Buddhism. I did Yoruba studies. I've also, did some indigenous ways of living and traditions, spiritual systems, as well as the Kemetic systems. So one thing that I've learned is that they all teach the same thing primarily. They teach you to live right, don't kill people, don't hurt people, treat people like you want to be treated. Those are the same
Universal
lessons
laws.
that you get no matter where you go to pray and worship and stuff.
Universal.
Yeah, so if people can live from that mindset, it really doesn't matter what name you call the creator, as long as you call the creator. Long as you know that there are higher forces, that there are universal laws that you must follow, you can be in relationships with anybody if you're on that level, is what I found.
Indeed. So I want to read a passage again from this book called The Spirit of Intimacy. I'm not sure if you have it in your library or if you read it before.
Yes, of course.
Right. And they talk about spirituality and marriage and relationships. So I just want your thoughts on this. So it says that marriage is a way of taking the call of the spirit further. It brings two souls, two purposes, and two worlds together and allows them to bring their gifts forward to benefit the community. It says that marriage is a way for spirit to bring its support for two people into one greater energy. It brings together two or many lines of ancestors, two cultures, and many different ways of looking at the world. And then it says marriage is two souls coming into one, still distinct, but forming one entity. What you think
Yes.
about that?
I definitely would agree with that. I was also a student of Naeem Akbar, Dr. Naeem Akbar,
Yeah,
and that was one of the things I remember. He taught us about different rites of passages that we go through in our life cycle. So, of course, marriage is one of those rites of passage that we should go through in order to really grow up fully. And especially growing up spiritually, because you definitely learn a lot when you are married. You have to live with someone, you have to agree, and sometimes agree to
right.
disagree. You have to have patience, tolerance, um, sacrifice,
Oh, yeah.
submitting, all of these different things that you don't have to do or learn when you're just living alone.
Um,
So it is an important part of our process, and probably an important part that many of us melanated people miss because we just don't know how important it is. But the ceremony itself is a way to call on the higher forces to come and be present and to bring blessings to the two that are coming together. And that those two are coming together, but they're also bringing their families together as well. So
right.
it's a serious, and a very big thing traditionally in our culture for two to come together, and then also to have children. That's another step
Mm.
in that rites of passage process. So you can be a grown up and everything, but if you don't have children, if you don't marry and have children, then you don't fully understand what it is to be a grown up. That's pretty much what he
Be
was
fruitful
saying.
and multiply.
Right.
Mhm.
Because, it's so many things that come with both, learning about unconditional love. And again, that
Oh,
patience, the sacrifice, and all of those things,
commitment
which
too.
the
Yeah.
commitment, yes,
Mhm.
people don't necessarily get, without having those things, the marriage and the children. So, yes.
Indeed. No, you just hit the nail right on the head, man. So what are some ways in which we can promote or enhance good energy and positivity on the world and others in 2024?
Ooh, that's a great one. So, we have to definitely shift and reprogram ourselves the way that we think and the way that we speak. Um, Also, shifting how we're using our energy. So before I go any further, we need to shift our way of thinking. Not too long ago, they brought out The Secret, the law of attraction, all of that,
Mm.
which is really ancient Kemetic knowledge. It's not
Mm.
anything new, but it is to help us to understand how powerful our thoughts are. So we definitely, and especially now, as we're moving into higher dimensions and such, we have to know that we need to think more positively. We
Yes.
have to control
Yes.
our thoughts. We can't
Yes.
continue to feel like we are the
Yes.
victims. And, they constantly promoting fear and
Yes.
that slave mentality towards us, which keeps us in a state of oppression. But give thanks and praises for the age of Aquarius because it's time to move out of that mindset and to move into our power, to step into, remembering that we are the Netaru, we are the gods and goddesses. We have that energy within us, and we can access it by thinking and using our thoughts to create the lives that we want. We also can use our words. So, like our parents and grandparents, they worried about everything because of the time that they were living. And they also passed that worry down to many
Yeah.
of us. But we have to even shift that vibration. And instead of worrying, um, affirming what
Mm.
we want,
Yes.
speaking what we want into existence.
Distance. Yeah.
That is definitely one thing that we can do to shift the vibration of the planet. And then tapping into that love vibration,
Mm.
right? Because there's
Mm.
so much hatred in the
Yeah.
world, but love is the greatest and most powerful emotion of all. Love is the greatest healer of all as well. So if we bring that love vibration into our thoughts, into our words, into our relationships, we can also shift the vibration of the planet as well. And those are things that don't cost any money for us to do.
It's $3.99.
We could
It's
just
$3.99.
exactly, exactly. So
99 for you to love self and to love
yeah,
others. Speaking about love, though, because I know the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, and the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, they said that when you have love, you have life, right?
yes,
Because the vowel and the consonants are different. They replace each other. You have LIFE, which is life, and you have LOVE, which is love. Okay, so the vowel and the consonant replaces one another. So when you have love, you have life.
yeah.
And when you have true, fulfilling, and purposeful life, you have love. That being said, how can one love each other or love self more first? Because when you love self, you will attract that energy. You will attract that loving energy and that loving personality of others onto you and vice versa. So how can one love self first and then love others after?
Well, loving yourself starts with accepting yourself for who you are.
Indeed.
You know, um, right now we have an epidemic with women who, and even now men who want to, have fake hair, fake nails, fake everything, which is a sign of self hatred. So when you love yourself, you're able to just
Be
be
yourself.
thankful for who
Right.
you are. You don't necessarily have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to change the way you look because you love how you look already.
As you were born. Sit. Oh, okay. I think you cut off. What you were saying, sis?
On the planet, everyone else tries to look like us.
Indeed.
Meanwhile, we're trying to look like others. So, we just need to shift that frequency and that vibration and remind each other just how beautiful we are and remind our young people you don't have to spend all that money getting fake hair and stuff to be beautiful. Your hair is already beautiful. Your lips, your nose, your body. It's
Right.
beautiful just the way you were made. So I think that's a big start. And then remembering to honor our gifts, because each of us was born with a specific purpose, a mission, and we have these beautiful gifts that we don't always use because sometimes it's out of fear. We're afraid of our gifts, or we just don't know how to use them, or we don't remember that we have this purpose. We have a reason for being here on the planet at this time. And so when we learn our purpose and we live with our purpose, we definitely love it ourselves more because we find more contentment with life. You know, nobody was born to just um, work in a Family Dollar ringing up stuff all
Right.
day. That's not a purpose for anyone. That might be your job, but you have a reason for being here. And when you find that, it's definitely easier to love yourself. So it's just about, having that guidance a lot of times from the elders, and then also tuning into your own spiritual self. Tune into your intuition, tune into your higher self. Listen to yourself and do what's best for you, not always following and doing what everyone else is doing, because that is not what we're meant to do or be.
Right, right. So I've seen a lot of people and family. If you have any questions, definitely drop them in our question box, and we will have a Q&A session just momentarily. But you mentioned something of purpose, right? And not fulfilling your purpose. Many people don't know, one, what they're passionate in, and two, what's their purpose. And I believe, for one, that if you can find what you're passionate in, then you will find your purpose,
Yeah.
along with loving yourself, right? So if you can just elaborate on that, sister, how can one find their purpose in life? Because once you find your purpose in life, I think you will begin to live.
Absolutely. So finding your purpose, oh, hold on. Finding your purpose is very easy. You can meditate and tune into your true self, to your higher self, and basically ask yourself, what is your purpose? I know that's what I did to find my purpose. Just taking the time to be quiet and be still and just talk to myself, talk to my higher self, and then be open to hear the answer. And it's not going to necessarily say, you are here to be a teacher. You may hear, like for me, when I asked my purpose, I heard, bring them to the light. You bring them to the light. And I was like, oh, okay.
How do I
So I
do
was
that?
able to translate that into being a teacher.
Okay.
Uh-huh. But yes, um, and from what I understand, that's usually how the messages come through, because the higher self does not speak English the same way that we do,
Right.
because it's your
Right.
spiritual self.
Right, right. And then even not just necessarily, meditating, well, I guess it's a form of meditation. When you're resting or
Mhm.
sleeping, people get dreams and
Yes,
visions of what they should do. And, that could be a form of meditation, and people should act on that, right?
absolutely.
As a form of having a purpose in life. Or maybe, as I said, visions, or just like deja vu. I get some deja vu here and there, and that could be a form, the ancestors or the universe letting you know that this is what you should be doing with your
Yes,
life.
yes,
So I believe a lot of people get that, but they are misguided and they let it fall by the wayside. They don't act on it.
right.
So, they end up just leaving it, and it just is what it is. How can people act on that more so that they can become their true selves and find their purpose in life?
So it's like you said, your gifts and what you're passionate about is definitely also assigned to lead you to your purpose.
Yeah.
So it is a matter of you taking the time to use those gifts, to activate those gifts, to turn them on so that they become even more powerful and they become a bigger part of your life. So, we say all the time, we're given, or those who work for others, working 8 hours a day for someone else, But you also have dreams. You also have goals and things that you want to do. So you have to make the time to dedicate towards seeing those dreams come true.
Mm.
You dedicate more time to tapping into your spiritual gifts and your powers, which will definitely guide you to your purpose for being here on this planet. And just imagine the world, how great it would be if we were really all living according to our purpose and not just, working these menial day-to-day jobs and whatnot, but actually doing what we came back here to do. That would be wonderful.
Indeed, indeed. Sure it will be. So let's continue, right? So the 42 laws of Ma'at, right, of ancient Kemet. What is it and which one is your favorite?
Ooh, the 42 laws of Ma'at are the precursor to the 10 commandments. So they are universal laws that were left on the walls of the pyramid to help us to know how we are supposed to behave, how we should treat ourselves, how we treat each other, how we treat the earth, the planet, the animals. Everything is included in those 42 laws. And I can't say that I have a favorite, you
Mm.
know what I mean? Because
Okay.
they're all very powerful. Um, don't pollute yourself. I will not pollute myself. I will not hurt animals. I will not pollute the earth. I will not pollute or harm children. Those are the ones that really stick out to me because I love the
Right.
babies. And, I'm a earth keeper, so I definitely want people to honor the earth. But also, not desecrating holy places. That's
Mm.
a big one.
Mm.
Um, not laying waste the plowed land. That's definitely another one that I love as
Right.
well. So these are laws that we all should know and we all should say them daily to help us to live with better character and a high level of integrity, which is something that we really need in our community right now because there's a lot of negative forces that are coming through um, the music
Yeah.
and television and such. And so, in order for us to counteract that negativity, we have to come with that high energy of love and integrity. And so the 42 laws teach us how to do that.
Mm. And speaking about the babies, you wrote a book on the 42 laws of Ma'at, a children book on the 42 laws of Ma'at. Why you decided to write a children's book and not an adult book on the 42 laws of Ma'at?
Well, because I am a mother, and being a mother, we had to learn some creative ways to discipline our children because we didn't want to just beat them all the time, right? So,
Right.
teaching them to live with integrity while they're young definitely became important in my own process. And so I figured that it would be helpful for others as well, especially seeing how things were going because, after the crack era and everything like that, the mothers and motherhood changed a lot.
Yes.
So, that definitely opened the way for the children to be very different. And, I taught children before I started doing the work I'm doing, teaching adults now. So I began to notice the difference in the children because of the influence of the music and other things. And it just seemed like it was something that was needed in our community. So I
Right.
added that
Right.
law.
And I believe the more that we share and disseminate and distribute proper education and information to the babies at an earlier age, the more that one they will get it because babies, their brains soak in and they're like sponges, right? So they get certain things quicker than us adults, right? And so once they're getting that type of information at an earlier age, they have more time for success. They have more time to live out their fullest potential
Absolutely.
instead of just finding it at a later age down the road.
Right.
So I believe that's very powerful. And speaking of your children books, I don't have the 42 Laws on my app, but I do have this one here. I do need to get a
Okay.
re-up, by the way.
Okay.
I need to re-up on your books. But I am mind, body, and spirit. So what prompted you to write this book as well for children?
So that book was it was definitely spiritually inspired because the like you were saying, it's important that we give our children a good foundation when they're young.
Yes.
And again, we don't want them to just think about the physical selves. We want them to understand that you do have a spirit, you do have a mind, and these things are all working in alignment with each other. So that book really opens the way for conversation about the spiritual self and the mental self, as well as the physical self, and helps to open the minds of the young people to see themselves, as a more broad and spiritual being, which is important for them because, little ones are usually very spiritual.
Ah,
They can see they're still connected to the spiritual realm, um, unless they go through a lot of trauma and whatnot. But they're so pure and light, and so when we help them to understand some of the things that they are feeling or seeing, it just makes them more grounded and stronger in that. So it's just to set that foundation.
indeed, indeed. And if I may, I'm going to read a couple of pages here
Okay.
in your children book. I am mind, body, and spirit. You can definitely get this book, family, and other books on the sister's website. She will share that later on at this interview, but I want to read a couple pages. So it says, my spirit works through my heart. My heart allows me to feel, love, and care. My spirit is the divine essence of me. It is the divine essence that is in all living things. It is spirit that connects us to the earth and the stars. It is spirit that connects us with each other and the animals, right? And then it goes on, so on and so forth. So, definitely, simple, as you were saying, it's the foundation of spirituality and really to get them to think, because I know as adults are reading to children or children, some of them are reading at a much earlier age now, 2, 3 years young. They will develop questions to ask, and they're
Yes.
very inquisitive. So yet alone, if they read something, they're going to ask, what is spirit? What do you mean spirit connects to the earth and stars? And that's another gateway of information that you can delve into that they will become conscious of, right? But if they would have never read the book, they may not have even thought of the earth and the stars and the universe and so forth, right?
Right.
I had did a lesson on that. I'm a teacher as well, and we talked about the universe. We talked about dark matter, and we talked about that the universe is a part of you and you are a part of the universe. The earth is a part of you and you are of the earth, right?
Right.
Because as you said, something with the rain, once rain and water has salt in it. And if you cry and you taste your tears, it tastes salty, right? So that's inside of you. The blood, if you bleed, that has iron in it. And the earth also has iron in it.
Yeah.
So, and the earth also has minerals and substances. You also have minerals and substances, right? So I can go on and on, but my point is we are of the earth and the earth is in us. So the children, they really gravitated toward that type of information because it's intriguing, it's educational, and it's inspiring as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's important for them to know that they are connected in that way. And that, like you said, the tears are salty just like the ocean water. And the minerals that are in the earth are also in our body, including gold and silver and copper and all of those things. So, definitely it's good to teach the little ones about that type of thing and just open their minds to understand things on a higher level while they're young. because
Indeed.
it will always stick with them. They'll
Yeah.
always remember that. Yep.
Yes. So I've been seeing people talk about sleep and rest. And I know Baba Dick Gregory, may Allah be pleased with him, he spoke on this as well. And he was saying that sleep deprivation is what is killing us, along with, the junk food that we're eating. So if you can, beloved, speak on the importance of sleep and rest.
Absolutely. And it is extremely important for us to get rest because when we're resting, our bodies get a chance to do things that they cannot do when we're awake. So we're digesting food, the bodies can regenerate cells while we're resting, and we're able to tap into that subconscious self, which is what you spoke about, the dream state. Um, which is definitely a time for us to get messages, for us to tune into spirit, into that spiritual realm. Even though we're not awake, we can sometimes remember those dreams. And when we do wake up, we come through with these messages that we received while we're resting. But I'm just going to plug the nap ministry because many of us were taught to work hard and work and hustle and grind and work. But there's a sister who came out with the nap ministry who definitely encouraged us all to rest more, to take naps, to be accountable for ourselves in that way and not just work ourselves to
Yeah.
death, basically, just because that's the way our ancestors lived. And so that was an important message for me because I would work every day. But ever since I received that message, I began to say, no, I'm not going to work every day. I'm not going to work all day. I'm going to take time to rest. And it has definitely helped me to be less stressed, right?
Mm.
Helped increase my overall vitality because I'm getting more rest, which is great because I have more
Right.
energy to do the things when I am ready to do things.
True.
So yeah, rest is important. We do not have to hustle and grind all the time. We can receive messages while we're resting that we can use to make money without even doing anything.
Right.
We're receiving the messages that we need. So yeah, definitely. We melanated people, we built this whole country. We deserve to rest.
Right.
And we should
True.
we
Indeed.
definitely, need to make sure that we get enough rest so that we can stay healthy and stay strong
Right.
and things like that as well.
Right. Indeed. People just think about, eating healthy and exercising and so forth, but
Mm-hmm.
fail to realize that resting is very an important part of your regimen that you should take on your journey of being healthy.
Yes.
People leave out the resting part and they just said, okay, I need to go to the gym. I need to eat, I need to change my diet and leave out the resting part. So definitely, family, add the resting regimen to your health journey. Okay,
Yes.
it will put some years on your life. Definitely will.
Absolutely.
And so speaking about healthy eating, uh, how does one eating healthy enhances your intuition and spirituality?
So, the great Dr. Sebi always reminded us that we are electric beings
Okay.
and we need electric foods in order for our organs to work the way that they're meant to. So, eating healthy means eating food that is still alive and has electricity. That excludes the food that comes in a box or a package or foods that are
Process.
not completely plant-based. Give me this charger. So it's important because we are electric and we have to feed ourselves that electricity in
Okay.
order for us to maintain good health. And as far as spirituality is concerned, it's hard to be spiritual if you are toxic.
Ah,
It's hard
say
to
that
be.
again, sis. Wow, say that again.
Yeah, if
Okay, that's
you
a
are
bar.
toxic and you're full of, you know what, um, you can't really tap into your higher self in the same way, because your body is full of poison,
Mm.
right? Your body is moving on a lower frequency because of that. And so when you're eating plant-based foods, electric foods, then you're able to have a higher frequency and tap into that higher self in a completely different way than you would if you weren't eating that way. So, that, is important, because this is our time to tap into that higher frequency. The age of Aquarius is that time for us to be moving as our authentic selves, moving, on a frequency that is above the lower self. We have been stuck in our lower selves um, far too long. And living in America, they want us to be stuck in our lower selves, to be emotional, or over sexualized, violent, and things of those natures. And when we're stuck in those emotions of fear and other emotions, then again, it blocks us from living with love. It blocks us from living from that higher aspect of ourselves. So we definitely are. I'm so happy to see, more people tapping into those lessons and being plant based, leaving the meat alone, the whole industry, the fast food, the
Yeah.
GMOs, all of those types of things, which are poison. It's toxic
Yes.
at this point. It's not like, back in the days, your grandma and grandfather would have their own cow in the yard. They had their
Yeah.
own chickens running around. So it's different when you're eating food that you grow yourself than buying the food from a big corporation that is mass producing it. It changed, and even killing it, and out of fear. The poor animals are afraid of dying, and of course, that's transferred to
Oh yeah.
anyone who eats that food.
Right.
So, it makes
Indeed.
a difference.
Right. Indeed. So for the people who do not know, what is the age of Aquarius?
Oh, so the age of Aquarius, we were in the age of Pisces, and that's why you would see the religious figures using the fish as their
Yeah.
symbol, because we were in that age of Pisces. And so every, I want to say, is 10,000 years, 20,000 years. Numbers I don't always remember specifically. You could look it up and Google yourself. But every so many years, we move into a different age. And it's basically the planets, the solar system has moved from the Pisces into the Aquarius. So some people, if you follow astrology at all, you will see that the planet Pluto has finally moved from Pisces into Aquarius. And Pluto is the furthest planet from the sun.
Yeah.
So it was the last one to move into Aquarius, which signified, us being in Aquarius completely. So it was a process that started 10 years ago or so, something like that. But it is a time of being in the knowing. So Pisces represented illusions, lies, distractions, those types of things. Aquarius is a spiritual time. It's a time of being in a place of knowing, not just falling into illusions. It's a time of tapping into our true power and tapping into um, the universal powers on a different level, I would say. It's a time of moving from the third dimension to the fifth
Mm.
dimension. So the whole people have been feeling a shift happening. It's a shift that is happening not just in the universe, but also within us,
Wow.
because we're shifting into this whole new way of thinking, being, seeing, acting, everything. So it's exciting for those of us, who are already on this spiritual path, because just thinking about it, moving into the fifth dimension, that's a higher dimension, it's a higher level.
Okay.
And so everyone is going to be moving into a higher way of thinking and speaking and acting, which is where we need to be, because that is when we're going to get to that time of peace on the planet that has been promised to us. So even though there's a lot of war going on right now, at some point, all of these wars will be over,
Right.
and we will be living in that time of peace. And that's what the age of Aquarius is bringing for us: higher consciousness, higher spiritual connection, higher power, and peace of mind and peace on the planet Earth.
Indeed. And I must add this piece because to me it's very important. And us elevating and getting to that higher peace of mind, getting to that knowledge and information, we must be educated, right?
Absolutely.
We must be able to read and immerse ourselves in proper education. So as you said so eloquently, sister, when it's time for us to actually evolve, we can evolve seamlessly, right?
Yes.
And gradually transition, as you said, from a third dimension all the way to a fifth dimension. But we must be knowledgeable. We must read and have the information. We have the information in us, right? But once we read certain texts, it awakens that information into our DNA, because right now it's just dormant because we're not reading. As you said, most of us are toxic. And so we're eating toxic food. We're listening to toxic music.
Yes.
So that information is dormant and it's concealed. So once we are a light and once we have a higher consciousness to do better, we will be better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to be educated. And this is why they are banning books and changing
Exactly.
the history and stuff like
Yeah.
that, because they constantly trying to keep us in the dark. But the age of Aquarius is a time of bringing ourselves into the light, and knowledge is a part of that light. So reading books, there's no real other way to do it, because the reading definitely activates different parts of our brains to help us to not just get the knowledge, but to get the understanding of
Indeed.
it. Because you got to read it and then also contemplate what you read, and then also use that information that you read to make changes in your life and the way you live.
Indeed. Knowledge, wisdom, and
Yeah.
understanding, very key.
Yeah.
Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and application as well.
Absolutely.
So, sister, before we conclude, I'm going to read, if you still have time, there's some questions in the question box. I'm going to read that, and if you can answer during our Q&A session. And then, but before that, why don't you give the people your IG, your website, and ways in which they can contact you?
Okay. So I'm right here on IG. It's Sekhi _arts_temple. If you see that with other numbers or letters added to that, then those are fake pages. Unfortunately, I have fake pages. So make sure when you look up Sekhi Arts Temple, we have a lot of followers. I don't remember how many,
About
but if you get a page,
64.
yeah, that's not a lot of followers, it looks like it's a new page, that's a fake page, whether it's mine or anyone else. Also, you can find us on Facebook, Sekhi Arts Temple, YouTube, and TikTok, Sekhi Arts Temple. My website for classes and retreats is RasekiHealing.com. And somebody said you got to put it up there, so I'm going to put it up here. And for books, we have RasekiStore.com. So I'm just going to put the actual websites up, and I'll see if when I put the website up, you'll see the Instagram link as well. But I can definitely answer some questions if anyone has
Yes.
any.
All right. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna see if I can just go in order. Let's see. Okay. So are there any practices that go against our spiritual health?
Practices that go against our spiritual health. Absolutely. Anything that is polluting yourself goes against that. Anything outside of the laws of Ma'at as well. So use the laws of Ma'at as a guide. They do have a law that says I will not abuse my sexuality. So that type of thing, would definitely do some damage to you spiritually. But use that as your guide to know what you should and should not do. That's the best way I could answer that.
Okay. All right, great. So the next one is, I'm sorry, that was from wisdom.ology_wisdomality. All right, so sister, if you still on this live, shout out to you. Thank you for asking that question. All right, so this one is from Black and Vegan. He said, the feeling you get from tapping into the magic of life and actually acknowledging that it is happening is such a powerful thing. Why isn't the world taking it more seriously?
Well, they have put poison in the food, the water, the air. There's poison in the music, the TV programs. So there's a lot of things that are working against us spiritually, and this is why people are not able to tap into their higher selves and into their spiritual power. For example, fluoride. Just look up fluoride and the effects that it has on you,
From
and it's in toothpaste.
toothpaste,
With
yes.
most people use that fluoride-based toothpaste every day, so it's working to dumb you down, to numb you. They have alcohol and so many drugs out there that numb people and dumb them down. So it's just a lot that works against us that we have to overcome and resist so that we can be our true selves and our higher selves.
Right, indeed. Well, my light done went out. That's telling me that this is a good interview right here. All right. So thank you, Black and Vegan. This one is from Colin 2K, I believe. He said, I guess he said, what is a way we can reconnect to our ancestors, known and unknown? Constructing an altar? If so, how?
So definitely, I always say start with talking to the elders in your family to find out the stories about your ancestors. Then you will want to create a list of names of honorable ancestors that you can connect with and communicate with. They should be the righteous ones. Not all ancestors are
Mm,
honorable, so you don't want to call on the ones who did not deserve to be called on. Once you get that list of names, then you will start pouring libations for them and calling their names, which actually will give them energy and will give them a power to be able to communicate with you on a higher level. Also, building an altar is an excellent way to not just communicate with your ancestors, but to honor them as well. So, having an altar, any altar that you want to build, you have to have something to represent fire, water, earth, and air. Um, a candle for fire is good, or incense you can light, which is air as well. A plant or some crystals to represent the earth, a glass of water for ancestors. The altars, they like to be close to the ground. They don't want to be in a busy part of your house that everyone who comes in the house can see them. So you want to put it kind of off to the side. You can add pictures, you can add statues or other items that you can get from your ancestors. And this becomes a portal or a focus point for you to be able to communicate with them. You're going to go there on a regular basis, pour that libation, talk to them, not just call their names, but actually sit and listen sometimes. Give them offerings, water, food, flowers, things like that to feed their spirits, which will help them to feed you on the spiritual level.
cool. All right, great. And this one is about relationships. So thank you, Colin 2K. This one here is Star Candy underscore Squidisha, I believe. Um, she said, I broke up with my ex, but he keeps popping up in my dream. Why I keep seeing my ex in my dream? Can you explain, please?
Absolutely. So when you are intimate with someone, you basically combine auras with them.
Yep.
and you
And
create
energy.
cords and attachments with them as well. So if you don't do something to cut those cords, then you're still connected and attached. Even if you break up, sometimes it's just a matter of having a particular conversation and saying the things that you need to say, getting stuff off your chest, saying, expressing your feelings, and then saying, I'm going to release this relationship. I forgive you for whatever, blah, 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 that type of thing. And a lot of times when people break up, they just say, okay, we're just going to
Yeah.
break up, which does not necessarily cut those cords.
Okay.
Some cases you actually do need to have someone, or you can cut them yourself, just by saying, I release all cords, attachments, and ties that do not serve my highest good from this day forward. That type of thing can help you as well. Getting rid of the stuff that they may have given you, burning stuff sometimes helps, but definitely you have to take some steps, especially if they still coming to you in your dreams. You got to just do a little bit more work. You might just need to write their name on a paper and say, I release such and such and such, and then burn it or flush it down the toilet. That could help as well.
Right, right. Thank you, sister, for answering that, and thank you, sister, for asking that question. All right. So sister, Fruits of Life Yoga, shout out to you, sister. Thank you for joining us. She said, can you offer suggestions to help young children go to sleep? My son and a few of his friends tend to resist sleep even after a bedtime routine. Shout out to you, Earth. Peace.
Yes, definitely. I used to read stories to my children before they go to rest. You might want to also give them a warm bath, turn on some soft music, and just help them to settle down that way. I also used to sing when my
Okay.
children were young. I would sing songs to them until they went to sleep, depending on the age. But encouraging them by turning out, like some people try to put a child to sleep with the light on or
Right, right.
TV on.
Or
That's
sometimes they
not going
just
to
force
work.
them. Just go to sleep right
Yes.
now.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. You have to set the environment up to help them to relax. You can massage their little bodies, but definitely turn that light off. And, that quiet, like jazz type music, like that Andre 3000, New
Oh
Blue
yes.
Moon, some music like that could be helpful, or other tones to help them settle and
Right.
relax.
Right, indeed, sis. Well, I hope that was helpful. Thank you for asking that question. Great. So, family, if you don't have any more other questions, again, thank you for being, for joining us and for accompanying us on this great interview. You can replay this interview. This interview has many messages, many jewels, many gems. So definitely replay it. Get a pen and paper, write it down, and share it with others, man, because we want to make sure and distribute proper knowledge and information as much as possible. Yeah, so my battery is dying too. So definitely, family, subscribe to the YouTube channel DTR 360 Books. Follow the sister. She, as you see and heard, she's knowledgeable. She brought much wisdom here on this podcast show. So thank you, sister, for your knowledge, for your wisdom, and for all that you do and for that you will do in the future, to and for our people. All right, so our family, I thank you for joining us. I leave you as I greeted you. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, shalom. Hotep, Islam, Alafia.
Hotel.
Peace.
Peace and blessings.